Okay, we are at 10:01. We will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let's see, I think we'll start off. I think everybody knows everybody on here. Oh, let's see, still more logging in. I guess up first, we'll just take on the approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? Does anybody like any changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Up next, we'll move on to the approval of the meeting minutes from February 24th. Does anybody like to make any changes to those minutes?
Joe, we received an email from Vic. There was a couple changes he would like to make to the minutes.
Okay, you want to, what are those, Rachel?
Let me find them. So under the fire TAC update, there was just a typo. It said prelude and he wanted it to say preload. So fix that. There was just a suggestion under the facility update. And I will let Dave explain more of what that's about. And then for radio infrastructure, I apologize, not for facility update, for the radio infrastructure Woodland site, there was just a suggestion. And then under the Kalama radio work, he wanted the last sentence to be removed.
Okay, Dave, do you want to provide any further detail on that?
Yeah, to get the unmute on. So I had no objection to those changes. And then the thing that had to do with the Woodland site, we've been doing research on that. So his suggestions have been looked into, and we'll be talking about that in today's meeting.
Okay. Does anybody have any issues with those amendments to the minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes, the amended minutes.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the amended minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. And then up next, Rachel, do we have anybody online for public comment?
No one has commented in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item 5, payables. Everybody had the chance to review the payables? Any questions?
I'd move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the payables as presented. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? Payables are approved then. And item 6, policies. It looks like we have a policy amendment.
Yes, sir. So regarding the Washington State paid family medical leave, that conflicted with a policy that we had at Calais 911. We consulted with the legal counsel and have removed the line that conflicted with the state language on the time bank usage. The rest of the policy remained intact. And we have a recommendation to approve the amended policy to comply with the state law.
And that's just to clarify that folks can use the family medical leave even if they have current banked leave.
Yes, and that complies with the Washington state law. And we did have council look at it to confirm that.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Dave on that amendment?
So Joe, I'd be really curious, like what the county's position is and what others are, because our legal counsel's direction is a different interpretation of the state statute and requirement.
Hmm.
Our legal counsel says that we have the ability to make them burn their banks before they apply for that state paid leave.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head, Vic, on specifically if the county HR requires that. I can definitely inquire to that. But I don't know it off the top of my head.
We can table this and bring it back up
Okay.
with those answers next meeting.
Yeah, I can bring back, I can talk to our HR folks and bring that information back.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be curious. I mean, you got, Andy's on with Kelso, Alan's on with Cowlitz too, Ralph's on with City of Kalama. I mean, there's a wide diversity, so it'd be interesting to see, I guess, what the accumulative answer is.
So I can speak with regard to the city of Longview. This is Chris Smith. We actually allow Washington paid family medical leave concurrently with leave use. Basically, Washington, the paid family leave does not provide 100% coverage, approximately 65%. And so we allow people to supplement their paid leave in conjunction with that.
Kelso does the same. And I'll have to double check, but I think Cowlitz 2 is similar to that as well, but I'll double check on that.
Yeah, a little bit of an assumption on my part, but just trying to go off of my memory, I think it's similar from what was just stated from Chris and Andy for the county. But I'll get that for certain. I guess if there isn't a time crunch on this, Dave, then maybe we could bring this back.
Yeah, there's no time crunch. We were just amending it to get it in line with what the state said, but there's no time crunch.
Okay. All right, that's fine with me, Vic. I'll get the details from the county side and we can kind of get everybody's thoughts next go around and go from there.
Do we need a motion to table?
Yeah, anybody like to make a motion to table this item until our next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second to table until our next meeting. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? All right, that motion passes. We'll talk about that again next meeting. Then moving along to item 7, do we have board either general comments or specifically any committee reports, the Law TAC or the Fire TAC?
I can speak for the Law TAC. They're meeting, I believe, next week, so there's no new update from Law TAC.
Thank you, Sheriff. Fire TAC, same thing, or?
Hold
Yeah,
on.
Brandon was going to speak, but he's heading out on a call right now. But he said they met, but really no updates or anything. They're just still moving forward with trying to get everything ready for the new CAD.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Anything else for comments, board comments before we move on? All right, not hearing any. How about director's report? Dave?
First, we're going to go over staffing. There's no change in the overall numbers. We still have 18 dispatchers, 3 in training. We're moving forward on hiring another trainee who's currently right now in the background process. I've met with staff and our training coordinator, and we're going to be adjusting the new trainees' training hours to be a 410. This is going to have them work during the busiest times, and it's going to allow for some of the mandatory training to be done that will not interfere with them being on the radio. And then later on in the training, hopefully we'll be able to add them as just call takers to work on what we think is one of the weaknesses in the new trainees. So we're going to try to get more bang for our buck and see what it's going to do with the new trainees, just letting you know that what we're going to try, and we'll reevaluate that as we go along with the new trainees. Then I had mentioned liaisons to all the police and fire chiefs, and those will be selected by next Monday, and they'll reach out to all the chiefs and see what the best way to get my dispatchers over there and start listening to the improvements that we can make at the line level or at the chief level if the chiefs don't want us to actually get down there with the line level. That's fine. But the liaisons are supposed to improve our service and hear what we can do better. Any questions on staffing? All right, moving on to the facility. Patriot reports that we're on schedule. We do have a weekly OAC meeting to keep apprised of the progress, and I follow up on that OAC meeting and meet with Norm on Thursday mornings out at the site. I just want to note that for any of the board members who wish to visit the site, this is an active construction area, and we've purchased a few hard hats and safety vests. They are required. So we have a couple of those here at the facility. If you'd like to go visit, just call up Rachel and we can arrange for you to borrow the hard hats and the vests to go out and see what the progress is on the construction. Any questions on the facility? Everything's going well so far. And thank you everybody for showing up. That was a really good participation. And we do have photographs of those that participated in the groundbreaking ceremony. So we'll get those pictures out to you folks. Going on to the radio. So Baker's Corner, Mark Pallins has reviewed the permit, and the permit is moving forward. And the Woodland site, that was one of the things that we were talking about on the amended part of the minutes from the last meeting. After further discussion with Tracy Coleman Wireless, there's now even another closer option. The site's going to be reviewed this Friday as a possible viable option. And I'm going to meet Deanna out there and see what that site looks like. It is on the same plot as the current plot. It's just outside the location where it is right now. And it does get us on a higher elevation. So we're going to evaluate all that stuff, and we continue to get different options, and hopefully this one will work out for us. And then moving on to the Kalama radio connection work, it's been prioritized by Day Wireless. Some of the equipment's been installed at the Hall of Justice, and Day Wireless will continue with the installation this Thursday. The Hall of Justice microwave is also awaiting the delivery of some radios. Those radios are expected early in April. And then lastly, we're we're aware of Kelso radio intermittent static, and Data Wireless is working on a solution to that. There's no other significant progress on any of the other radio sites. Any questions on any of those radio updates? All right, and moving on to analytics. We're only going to do analytics once a month, and we'll do a review for the prior month before. So the analytics for February, we answered 95.24% within 10 seconds. This met the internal goal that was set by Cowlitz 911, so we are answering above the goal. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave at this point?
I had one question. I heard something about a squirrel bridge being built. Is that part of the facility, or?
That is not part of the facility. That was
Okay.
just one of my ideas. So I've met with a few people in the, is it the
Sandbaggers.
Sandbaggers, okay. I've met with a few people there and gotten some ideas as to whether or not there could be a squirrel bridge that recognized the dispatchers, and we were also going to see about maybe including all the first responders, and that was something that I was going to foot the bill for personally, but that was kind of something in the background until I got all the particulars. But it looks like they're interested in doing something for 2022, which would maybe coincide with the opening of the center.
Okay, I'd heard of that. I was just curious as to if that was part of the facility development or an obligation for artwork or something that goes along with the public building or not, but
No,
thanks.
there'd be no money coming from the facility for this. It would be footed by either me or we were going to look at whether or not the police officers, firefighters, and dispatchers might want to contribute to the cost. So it's kind of like in the preliminary stages. I wasn't really prepared to talk about it though.
It's out there. It's in the wind.
Okay, well, I am researching it, and it looks like it's doable as far as I think it could be done for a fairly cheap amount of money. But it wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right. There's nothing else for Dave under director's report. Then I would check in with folks. Does anybody have anything under old business they'd like to revisit?
Well, Joe, just maybe to expedite the policy thing, I did make a call over to county HR,
Thank
and
you.
they do allow the Family Leave Act to be taken without draining your other banks, vacation leave banks. We're in alignment with other like the cities in that regard. So I don't know if we want to address that today or just leave it tabled, but that's where the county stands on that.
Thanks for making that call, Sheriff. I think since we already did sort of handle that through a motion, we took a vote to table till our next meeting. I guess we can keep it that way. But I appreciate you making that call for me. Anything else under old business? All right. Do we have any need today for executive session, Dave, or any board member?
There's no executive session from our standpoint.
Okay, thank you. And no, I take it there's no need for a closed meeting today. So anything else for the good of the order from anybody before we sign off of here? All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoys. It looks like the sun is out to some degree. There are clouds, but the sun is out. So I hope everybody gets a chance to get some of the nice weather. So that being said, have a great day, and we'll see everybody next time. We'll adjourn.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.